So, whilst it seems that Gohan may have the advantage at the end of the current telling of Dragon Ball Super in the manga post-superhero arc, at least in terms of raw power, I know a lot of people dispute the fact that Goku's hacks and abilities may actually win in the fight, but at least in terms of sheer raw power, it seems that Gohan Beast has an advantage over Ultra Instinct Goku. However, Dragon Ball Daima has just dropped, which may have answered an age-old question. And I'm talking age-old, decades old. Now, if you've been around in the Dragon Ball fandom for a long time, you'll know that the Kid Buu versus Super Buu, or Buuhan, I guess you could say, dispute has been going on for the longest of times. Of course, we had the Broly vs Jiren wars recently, while the Buu wars have lasted way longer than that. But attached to it is who is stronger out of Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Ultimate Gohan from the Buu saga. This debate has been raging for years, and based on my experience of the fandom, I think a lot of people genuinely split it into two sides of the adaptations of the original Dragon Ball manga. Of course, that's the manga itself and the anime. The anime seemingly delves away from what seems to be implied or heavily implied in the manga. In the manga, it seems to imply that Ultimate Gohan is the strongest, based on the fact he mollywops a Super Buu who is able to compete with a Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, who Goku himself seems to imply may have surpassed him as well at that point in time. Obviously, we know Goku fights again later against Kid Buu. I'll get to that in a moment. But Ultimate Gohan is stronger than that. And of course, when absorbing Buuhan, the addition of Ultimate Gohan's power to Super Buu, who was weaker than Ultimate Gohan, Goku is literally in fear. He does not want to fight this version of Buu at all, he'd rather fuse. Of course, Goku then fights against Kid Buu later, and obviously that debate has been raging on for a long time as well. I'm actually going to cover the Kid Buu versus Buuhan or Super Buu debate pretty soon on this channel. I basically own all the guides, so I'll bring forth all of the information from those guides that I have and basically leave it up for you to decide. Of course, I'll give my opinion as well, but that's really where it lies at the moment, is just what your opinion is and what you measure in terms of qualitative evidence. The anime, however, seems to go in a different direction. It seems to fluff up that last fight between Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Kid Buu to be the strongest battle out of all the battles that happened in the Buu saga. Buu is directly referred to as the strongest Buu yet, so that would imply Kid Buu is stronger than Buuhan, who is basically Super Buu with Ultimate Gohan added to his power. So Goku, with Super Saiyan 3 fighting against that version of Buu, you would seem to take away from that, well, maybe Super Saiyan 3 Goku is the strongest after all. Even though that fight does seem to go away from the subtext of how we're supposed to understand Buu and how he works, at least from the portrayal of the manga. But you could also argue that Kid Buu is just also a lot stronger than Goku, so does that necessarily mean Goku's stronger than Ultimate Gohan? So much. Daima, however, comes in, and really in the first few minutes of Daima, it states this: this man, Son Goku, may appear gentle, but is the most powerful warrior who possesses unworldly strength. It calls Goku the most powerful warrior. Now, Daima's timeline placement is what is interesting and what is actually causing a dispute right now, and that is the fact that it takes place somewhere between 9 months to a year after the events of the Buu saga. What do we know about Gohan? Gohan's not really somebody who continues training. He's likely let go of any of his training, whereas Goku is somebody who does continue training. He truly is, at the essence of it, a true warrior. And I know this is not news to anybody really. We know from the Dragon Ball Super run that Gohan hasn't continued his training. GT followed a similar sort of character arc for Gohan. Gohan doesn't train like Goku and Vegeta did. However, we know that Gohan does grow much faster than Goku and Vegeta if he actually wants to train, and he is stated on many occasions to have more potential than Goku and Vegeta, being a half-breed mutant Saiyan, Earthling. Now, if you take that statement from Daima at surface level, well, of course you would say Goku is therefore stronger than Gohan. However, you have to take into account the timeline placements of Dragon Ball Daima. As I mentioned, 9 to 12 months after. If Gohan has stopped training, how much power would he lost, or has he just basically plateaued and stayed still? Goku likely in that 9 to 12 months of training would have continued to get stronger. He would likely have got more used to his Super Saiyan 3 form because it was relatively new to him at the time of using it on Earth when he used it in the Buu saga. His body simply couldn't handle it. Can he handle it better now? Many questions. And of course, guys, as always, I want you to contribute to the dialectic here by commenting down below your thoughts on this matter, and hopefully presenting sides of the argument that people haven't considered yet. So going by traditional scaling, I think it's safe to say that Gohan probably hasn't grown in power since the Buu arc till the time of Daima. I think that's probably a safe presumption. I think it's fair to say that he likely would have lost a bit of power from that time. I know it's not the longest time, and we know by the time it gets to the Buu arc, he's basically at Mr. Buu levels, based on the fact that he gets knocked out by having his head banged together with Fat Buu by Beerus, and he seems to be in his ultimate form there, so he's somewhat able to transform into his ultimate form, just a very rusty ultimate form. By the time he gets to Resurrection of F, he can't even use his ultimate form, but he should be able to use his ultimate form as of the start of Daima. But has he lost some power with it or some proficiency with it? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Goku, however, would have been at his Super Saiyan 3 levels and likely would have continued training and gotten stronger. As we see in the first episode of Daima, he is now training with Vegeta as if it's normal. It's important to note, as we've just watched Super and he trains with Vegeta a lot, prior to the Buu saga, Goku never really trained with Vegeta. But how strong exactly has Goku grown since then? Are they huge power leaps or are they small power leaps? I guess it comes down to this slow growth versus fast growth theory again that we are often discussing in Dragon Ball Super in terms of their gains during and mid arcs. But has that differential been closed by Super Saiyan 3 Goku to surpass Ultimate Gohan? Other aspects we can definitely look at is Gohan is definitely not as good of a fighter as his father, Goku. Goku is a vastly better martial artist, a better fighter, a better warrior. If they were even power levels, Goku would definitely win. However, another point of contention that should be noted is the fact that the ultimate form is definitely a more durable form than Super Saiyan 3. Super Saiyan 3 is incredibly exhaustive. It's a Super Saiyan extension form, essentially, where it basically draws Super Saiyan to its absolute maximum, and Goku cannot handle it for long in a mortal body. Likely he's got better with it post Buu saga, but it's still an exhaustive form. The ultimate form is almost like a base form for Gohan, where he's using all of his base power at once. That's the best way I would describe it. We know that Gohan's power is vastly superior to Goku's natural reserves of power, but Goku tends to be able to use more transformations than Gohan because he continues training and always finds a way to break his limits. Now, we also do get to see snippets of Buu at the beginning of the Dragon Ball Daima episode 1, and we get told that Super Buu is a powered up version of Fat Buu. So if you needed that confirmed, I think most of us knew that anyway. It's not directly stated in the manga, but it's implied. It is clearly stated by Degasu and King Ghoma that Super Buu is stronger than Fat Buu. So that gives us another point of comparison. We know that Super Saiyan 3 Goku was too strong for Fat Buu. However, he's never directly stated that he's stronger than Super Buu in the manga. If anything, he's surprised Gotenks can achieve Super Saiyan 3, who is somewhat beating Super Buu in the manga, but Goku anticipated that a Super Saiyan version of Gotenks would beat Super Buu in the manga. So that could be a bit of an answer there as to whether Goku could fare off well against a Super Buu, whereas Gohan is outright stronger than Super Buu. We do get to see Kid Buu at the beginning of Daima. Unfortunately, for those waiting to end the Buu Wars after decades of arguing, they do not give us an answer. They don't say this version of Buu is stronger than Super Buu. They basically just say nothing. So I guess we'll have to cover that in a video another day, and I'll be sure to add a lot of guide statements that you've never seen before. Trust me. It is a shame because if we take Daima to be written by Akira Toriyama as implied, then it would be the natural follow-up for the manga of Dragon Ball Z, not the anime of Dragon Ball Z, as the anime of Dragon Ball Z is an adaptation of Toriyama's works and writings in his original vision. But you would have to assume that Toriyama has specifically written this line at the beginning of Dragon Ball Daima Episode 1. But at least in terms of the timeline placement of Episode 1, according to the pen of Toriyama, Goku is stronger than Gohan. But has Gohan got rusty? Has he lost some power? Has Goku gained power? That's the question. So let's take a little look at some of what the guidebooks state about Ultimate Gohan vs Super Saiyan 3 Goku at the end of the Buu saga. So what do the guidebooks say? Well, the Daizenshu 2 explicitly states that Gohan with his ultimate form is the strongest warrior. Daizenshu is probably the most famous Dragon Ball Z guidebook. It is basically like a Dragon Ball Bible encyclopedia and was released circa to the actual original release of the Dragon Ball manga. However, another prominent guidebook, the Super Exciting Guides, probably my favourite guidebook out of the lot, states this about Goku watching Gohan attain his ultimate form. As time passes by, Gohan becomes a strong young man. Goku feels reassured by the fact his own child has surpassed and matured beyond him and entrusts the world with him with peace of mind. Basically, that is Goku admitting that Gohan with his ultimate form has surpassed him. If anything, Gohan also knows what Goku's power is because he felt his power against Fat Boo. So the two most prominent guides state that Ultimate Gohan is stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, and they are both referring to the manga version. More recently, the Sakyo Jump released this in terms of Ultimate Gohan. At last, Ultimate Gohan is in fact stronger than Goku. However, he gets carried away and gets absorbed in the greatest climax. So at least in terms of guides, they seem to suggest that Gohan is stronger than Goku in the manga version. Like I said, the anime does seem to differ, at least implied to differ. We'll talk about that more in the Boo video, and there's other statements in the guides as well which I'll talk about and save for that Boo video. However, based on guide material, Ultimate Gohan is stronger. However, if Toriyama did write that Goku statement at the beginning of Dragon Ball Daima episode 1, then that is from his pen. He would outrank any of the guidebooks, even though he is known to have been involved in the super exciting guides, and he gives a full-on interview in there. They are basically secondary sources, whereas Toriyama is prime source material. However, that comes with the caveat due to the time passed from the Kid Buu verse Super Saiyan 3 Goku on the Supreme World of the Kais to the beginning of Daima. So have things changed? Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section. Last thing I will say is, as Super has continued, it's become pretty obvious that Gohan's ultimate form is extremely powerful, and I think if you compared him to current versions of Goku at the end of Super, his ultimate form way surpasses Goku's Super Saiyan 3. But the ultimate form doesn't quite work like the Super Saiyan transformations that just multiply raw power. Gohan's ultimate form seems to be implied to be all of his base strength being utilized at once. And as we saw when Gohan was a baby, his raw power level had already surpassed an adult Goku's. Gohan is just ridiculous, but Goku is definitely a better martial arts master. So let me know who you think would have won in the comment section at the end of the Buu saga, Super Saiyan 3 Goku or Ultimate Gohan. I'm looking forward to reading your comments. Smash a like on the video. If you're new to these ends, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Exciting times ahead. Dragon Ball fans, we are back. Until next time, Ad Astra.